Hey guys, today I wanted to talk about stress and your child's rashes. The link between stress and eczema really isn't news, and it's pretty well known that stress can trigger rashes and flares. But what I think is really interesting is this connection between parental stress and stress in children. And essentially, we share our stress with our children. So I want to dive deeper into this for you and about how your child can have stress and how that triggers rashes and flares, because in working with clients, most of them report little to no stress for their children. So while you might not think that your child can have stress, I do want you to know that all types of stress, so whether that's emotional, physical, toxic, environmental exposures, all of this can cause chemical changes in your child's body. And what happens is that it increases cortisol, which is the body's main stress hormone. This is normal. And when it's short term, it's part of a healthy stress response. This is your fight or flight response. So, long term stress, however, is chronic and problematic because those changes that prepare the body for that short term response, they should return to normal, but they don't. And that cortisol stays high, which increases inflammation. So, chronic stress and this long standing or chronic increased cortisol, this increased inflammation, wrecks your child's skin barrier, and it makes their body more prone to allergic responses because it can change how the immune system works. So again, it's increasing that inflammation. So chronic stress can actually cause increased gut hyperpermeability, which you may know as leaky gut, which also can result in skin problems and food reactions. So your child might not have stress from like work or relationships or finances, but the vicious cycle of rashes and flares creates chronic physical and emotional stress for your child, no matter their age. And then these same unfavorable downstream effects. So, things that you can do to help your child manage stress. First of all, include antioxidant rich foods in your child's diet. So, this goes back to how chronic inflammation comes from oxidative stress, and we get oxidative stress when we don't have enough antioxidant nutrients to combat it. And the longer we have that chronic inflammation, the more oxidative stress is happening, the more we need even more of those antioxidant nutrients. So really important to get these types of foods into your child's diet. And this is where we're talking about a lot of different vegetables and fruits, rainbow assortment of those types of foods. And remember too, that emotional and psychological stress can cause this oxidative stress, resulting in inflammation that can trigger rashes and rash flares. So, we always want to start with food first, by the way, and just remember that you can't out supplement a diet that's lacking in nutrients in the first place. So, there are lifestyle tips that can help manage your child's stress too. And so, I am going to drop a link below this video for you so you can check those out. But I also want to talk about your stress too, because this matters a lot for your child's healing journey. So, if you're like so many of the other parents and clients that I work with, maybe you're feeling fear and frustration and anxiety, and you're just overwhelmed when it comes to your child's symptoms and their shrinking diet and the lack of sleep. And again, this is where many of my clients are when they find me. And if you're feeling this way too, I'm so sorry for that. And I do want you to know that it is important for you to manage your stress in the situation. And that's because your stress is felt by your child. So remember that your stress can become your child's stress. And I do often see this in my practice. And there's also a lot of evidence in the research about it. So, classic research, for example, has shown us that children who live in stressful environments can end up with all sorts of behavioral and emotional problems at some point during development. So, an example, parents' own anxiety and household stress has been linked to their children's emotional problems, including behavior issues, aggression, anxiety, and even depression. And maternal stress has also been linked to factors in infancy that predict anxiety later in life as the infants get older. And, further, maternal anxiety and depression are also associated with a child's impulsiveness and problems with attention. So, stress can also begin to impact a child before it's born. This I find so fascinating. So, mothers who experience some sort of trauma during pregnancy, like even mothers who were pregnant during the Holocaust or who had to evacuate the World Trade Center on 9/11, tended to give birth to infants who were at a greater risk for depression and anxiety. And so this suggests that the effects of both trauma and chronic stress can be transmitted from one generation to the next. And these are just some examples of how your stress can increase stress in your child, thus triggering those downstream effects and those adverse types of symptoms and biochemical changes in the body. Because remember that even this sort of emotional type of stress triggers that same sort of inflammatory process in the body that can result in rashes and flares. So, stress management, so important. Again, there are lifestyle factors we can start with. Again, I'm going to drop that link below this video, so that might be helpful for you. But I also want to share a couple of my favorite supplement strategies that I personally use, and I found it very helpful as well in managing or helping some of my clients and the parents and caregivers of the children manage their stress as well. So I'm really excited to share this information with you, because it's rare that I offer suggestions like supplement wise and such for adults, because I work with children in my practice. So this is definitely an exception and one that can make a difference for you as well as your child's healing journey. So let's talk about the gut brain axis and the psychobiome for a second. So, the gut brain axis is this bidirectional communication between the gut microbiome and the central nervous system. And it can play a role in cognitive function and digestion and mood. And research shows us that about 80 to 90% of the fibers in the vagus nerve, so that's one of the longest nerves in the body, and it connects the gut to the brain. And so this provides that physical link through which the gut microbiome communicates with the brain. So this is where the term psychobiome has been used to describe that interaction between a person's collective microbiome and then their mental state. So a diverse and balanced microbiome in the gut can help maintain that gut brain axis. And a psychobiotic is used to describe the commensal bacteria that play a role in that gut brain axis and supporting brain health. So there is a strain of a bifidobacterium longum. It's strain 1714, and it can help support the management of occasional stress and this biochemical expression within the body. So the psychobiotic exerts its effects by targeting the HPA axis to support healthy cortisol levels. So this probiotic strain may support mental health, cognitive processes, neurotransmitters, and just an overall feeling of well-being. And so the first product that I want to introduce you to is ZenBiome Cope. So I have that one right here. So I take both of these myself, by the way, too, and I find them very helpful. So Cope. So this one is designed to help people better handle life's occasional stressors. And it contains this Bifidobacterium 1714 strain, along with some B vitamins and also some herbs that help provide targeted support for coping with day-to-day stressors and mood changes. And then the second one that I use regularly, that I also recommend and can be very helpful, is the ZenBiome Sleep. So this one is formulated to help with sleeplessness, and it can also help support feelings of relaxation and reduce tension. So this one also has that same strain, the Bifidobacterium longum 1714, and this also contains L-theanine, which is calming, as well as lemon balm. So both of these products you can get through my professional grade dispensary, and so I'm also going to put the link for that below this video too. Yeah, and I hope this gives you a better sense of how important it is to manage stress in general, and how your stress can impact what's happening with your child. And I hope now you have some strategies to implement that can help.